Today we are talking rod holders, specifically the TKI billet aluminum rod holder. So with our TKI rod holders, they are 100% billet aluminum. All of the hardware that we use that is not aluminum, like the triggers, some of the bolts, and some of the studs are either zinc plated or stainless steel. Our rod holders are 100% made in the USA, 100% USA made material, and are hard anodized, hence the gray color instead of black. So it makes them very corrosion resistant and very durable to scratching and fading. With our rod holders, we offer two different lengths. This is a 10-inch arm. We also offer a 5-inch arm. The rest of the rod holder is the same. It's just the length of the arm that changes. If you want to adjust the rod holder, you simply loosen the aluminum knob and you can adjust it up and down, or you can loosen the base nut, and the base nut that attaches to the base can then be rotated left and right. So with our bases, as you can see, it's a two-piece base. We have a lower clamp and the upper base. So there are 4 screws that will screw in from the top through the top into the bottom. Each bottom part is already drilled and tapped. So as you can see, this is a 1-inch round base. So we have 7/8, 1 inch, 1 1/16 inch. We also have a flat base. We tend to use this more on track mount systems or Lund Sport Track, 90-degree and 45-degree applications. Or if you have a boat that you want to mount these directly to the top of the gunnel, you can definitely do that as well. So now we're going to install one of our rod holders onto one of our bases. Once the thread is tight, you can tighten it down by hand, and now the rod holder is very sturdy. The nice part is, if you order multiple bases, these bases can be placed in numerous locations in the boat. So you could use it to pull bottom bouncers, so you could have multiple bases up front. But if you're going to pull cranks, you can have extra bases in the back of the boat to allow it to be placed back here. Another great feature of the TKI rod holder is, as you can see, the trigger is mounted on the right-hand side. I tend to use my right hand to pick up the rod. So when depressing the trigger, it opens easily. If you decide that you'd rather have it on the left side, you can remove these 2 screws. There is a plastic washer in between the cradle and the clams, so you have to make sure that that is in place when you reinstall it. But these are ambidextrous, so you can actually put the trigger on the left or on the right-hand side. That choice is up to you. Another great option is we have a 25-pound magnet that goes into the arm of the rod holder. So now you can take your scissors, a forceps, or a pliers, and it snaps right to the side of the magnet. It makes it really handy in case you need a pliers or a forceps when you're landing those big fish. So with each live pole kit, you're going to receive a pole. So if we take this pole out of its packaging, you can see that it's a pretty simple design. We do have a folding handle. So this handle is 18 inches long. So if you don't want it 18 inches long, you can easily remove the rubber grip, cut the handle down, and then slide the grip right back onto the handle. This makes it really easy if you decide to run the pole shorter. Now you can tip the handle up, and then for stowing, it's super easy to fold. So with the adjustability of the pole, if you want to run the pole lower in the water column, or if you have a deep keeled boat, there are 2 set screws in the side of this silver collar. You can loosen those set screws and then slide the collar up, or if you're running this in a John boat and you don't want it as deep in shallow water, you can run the collar down and then be able to adjust this block up and down. Inside of the block, there are 2 O-rings. In those O-rings, those O-rings create the friction on the pole to keep it in place as you're moving through the water. So if you grab the block, you can notice that I can turn the pole and there is friction that holds it in place. Very simple, easy design. So with the end of the pole where your transducer would mount, as you can see, there is a notch in the end of the pole. So now we can mount our transducer, run the cables up the pole, out the top of the pole, and now it makes for no twisting on the pole itself. With the length of the arm on the live pole, we like to keep it as short as possible. So on this Ranger, I have a 5-inch arm. So the 5-inch arm, I'm running the round rails. With the 5-inch arm, we go from the center of the rail to the outside of the bump rail. So that is the easiest way to determine what length of arm you need. So I have a 10-inch arm in comparison. So if we would mount this in the same spot, you can see how far we are away from the boat. With this arm, it's not that it's an issue, but pulling up to docks or things like that, you will have to be a lot more careful. I prefer the 5-inch arm, depending on where your rail or where your mount is to the outside bump rail of the boat. So one of the big benefits of our live pole is, as you can see, the pole has a notch in the side of it. So it makes cable management very easy. So the transducer and the wires that come off of it, our wires run up the pole, so there's no cables here, and then it comes out the top of the pole. So it makes it super easy. You don't get any cable wrap around the pole. So to show you how easy it is to deploy and stow our live pole, we have our 5-inch arm mounted here off the side of the boat. We want to start by first opening up the clams on the bottom of the holder. Now we take our pole, slide it down the rod holder, and it's that easy. To stow it, you'll need to depress the trigger, lift up on the pole, and the pole stows that easily.